Well, hello and welcome to another Faith, Philosophy and Life with me, Mr. Shelton. I do hope that you are doing well. We're doing a series on relationships at the moment, and we are thinking today about marriage. And I want to just start by showing this fantastic clip from Friends. If for some reason it doesn't work, then you'll find it in the description below. But we're going to start thinking about marriage vows. So what do we know? What are they? What do we know? And if you were to write your own, what would they be? So just have a think about that for a second. What marriage vows do you know? I'll give you a clue. They start with "for better." And if you were to write your own vows, what would you include? We're going to play now the clip from Friends from Joey, where he's trying to create his own marriage vows, and see what you think. If it doesn't play, you'll find it in the description below.
We are gathered here today on this joyous occasion to celebrate the special love that Monica and Chandler share. Huh? It is a love based on giving and receiving, as well as having and sharing. And the love that they give and have is shared and received. And through this having and giving and sharing and receiving, we too can share and love and have and receive. Friends, family, dog. Thank you all for being here to witness this blessed event. The cold has now spread to my special place. Phoebe and Mike are perfect for each other, and I know I speak for everyone here when I wish them a lifetime of happiness. Who has the rings?
When I was growing up, I didn't have a normal mom and dad or a regular family like everybody else. And I always knew that something was missing. But now I'm standing here today knowing that I have everything I'm ever going to need. You are my family.
I love you too.
Joey.
Yeah.
Chappie's heart rate has slowed way down.
Okay, Phoebe, do you take this man to be your husband?
I do.
Mike, do you take this woman to be your wife?
I do.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
And with that done, here's our cheesy intro music. So our title today is What Happens in a Christian Marriage Service? What happens in a Christian marriage service? We're going to explore what marriage vows are and what they tell us about Christian views on marriage. Do make sure that you pause me as we go and obviously get the title written down as well. It's going to be a good outcome if you can state how important marriage is in Christianity. Great if you can explain why a person might choose to get married, bearing in mind we've already thought about cohabitation, and even better if you can explain the marriage vows and some biblical teaching to support them. And that's going to tie into our exam question that we're going to do later in this lesson. So we've got another media clip to watch, then we're going to look at doing a little bit of research, thinking about the value of trust, because ultimately that's what marriage is about, and maybe asking some questions as well. So to start off with then, I'm going to play a clip, got this from TrueTube. It's an excellent clip which talks about marriage, and I'd like you to write down some information about marriage while you're watching this. So just take some notes while this is on.
A Christian marriage takes place in church. It is a service which takes place in front of family and friends, but also God. A marriage is between a man and a woman. At the start of the marriage, the minister explains the purpose of marriage, reminding the couple of the lifelong commitment they are to make to each other. The minister will explain that the couple will come together in sexual unity, and there is a hope that there will be children. The minister will also check that they may lawfully be married.
From this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death us do part. According to God's holy law, in the presence of God, I make this vow.
The vows show commitment through good times and bad, and they have promised to stay together until they die. The minister also asks God to bless the vows. They exchange rings, which is a symbol of eternity. This is an outward sign of the marriage and that they are unavailable for sexual relationships with anyone else. Prayers are said for the couple, and God is asked to bless the marriage and their future life together and for their future children. Hymns are sung, and there may be a Bible reading and a sermon or talk from the minister. The couple are given their marriage certificate, which is a civic and legal requirement in the UK.
Jesus said,
A man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate.
Okay, so the next thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to divide your page into 3. Okay, so I suggest it as doing a Y, but you can divide it as you wish. And there's 3 questions for you to work on. So you're going to write each of those questions in each section of the diagram. So why do people get married? What happens in a marriage service? And why do Christians get married? Please note there is a difference between those top and that bottom one. So you're going to need to use all the resources available to you, and I've put some notes where I've got some of these resources from. You will find that all in the description below, and so you'll need to power through those. So grab those, have a read over them, make some notes in each of those sections. In a classroom, you kind of be doing one, then sharing it, so I get this is going to take you a little bit of time. This should take you, in fact, most of the lesson, to be fair. I do have a quick 5-marker question for you to do before we finish today. So give yourselves probably about half an hour to get this done. I want a whole page, as many notes as you can. You're going to be making sure that you've made notes from Common Worship about the vows and why Christians get married, what happens in the service. So there's loads of stuff to be working on. Obviously, if you're at home as well, you've got the big wide internet you can be researching on as well. So pause me now while you do that, and then come back to me when you're done. Okay, so I said our learning objective was to explore what the marriage vows are and what they tell us about Christian views on marriage, and hopefully you've done that with having a good look at the information that you've got in front of you. So we've got a 5-marker to go with, and this is the question. Explain 2 religious beliefs about the purpose of marriage. Explain 2 religious beliefs about the purpose of marriage. Your answer should refer to specific religious teachings or sacred text. So you need to start really ideally with this one, with like some Roman Catholics think, some Church of England think, or the other way around, or some Quakers think, some, whatever your teachers would normally have you do. You need to make sure you've put at least a quote in there or a teaching, and that could be a vow or something that you've taken from Common Worship, from the Church of England documentation about what marriage is, or what the Book of Common Prayer says. All of that was available to you to have looked through. So make sure you've got some reference or evidence in there. Doesn't have to be a biblical quote. It could be another form of religious teaching. So you could state the Church of England says, or the Roman Catholic Church says this. So give yourself 5 minutes. You're after 2 short paragraphs, one of those being including some sort of evidence or quote. So pause me and come back to me when you're done, and then we'll look at how that gets marked. So that's how it gets marked. It's really straightforward. Is it a simple or detailed view? We've got 2 of them. And is there a quote or source of authority in there? So score yourself out of 5 now, and then come up with something you need to do differently next time. So we're going to bring this to a conclusion now. What we said today would be if you could state how important marriage is in Christianity. Great if you could explain why someone might choose to get married, and even better if you can use some marriage vows to support the biblical view of this. So I'm going to leave that there. It was only a short one from me, but you've done a lot there. So take care of yourself, stay safe, wash hands, God bless you, and I'll be seeing you soon.